Welcome to Brewsers, a podcast about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. I am your host, Rody John, and today we speak to Joseph Kovash from Tortugo Brewing out in Los Angeles, California. We talked all about how they got started, how they pivoted during the pandemic, the SoCal brewing scene, and how the love for animals has brewed over into the brewery. This is such a fun interview. This is one I did while I was out in Los Angeles for WrestleMania. This guy could not have been nicer, and I cannot wait to go back to actually just spend more time there, because even though I did the interview, we still spent another 20 to 30 minutes afterwards just chit-chatting, trying some beers. It was such a good interview. So you don't want to hear from my mouth, you want to hear from his. But first, make sure to sign up for our newsletter so that way you can stay up to date with what is going on with your favorite podcast all about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. You get even more knowledge as to who I am interviewing and who is on the show today, so make sure to sign up for our newsletter. But in the meantime, here is Joseph Kovash with Tortugo Brewing. No, Monday, or this one's at Crypto.
Crypto.
Yeah.
It's cool. So you were here last year. You tried to catch me for...
No.
Was it 2? How many years ago was this? I remember seeing the email and telling you that I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's one a while ago.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Oh, about a year ago.
It was...
Is there another Brewsers podcast?
I swear it was like the same exact thing. Of course, it's not going to load. And that's why I reached out. I was like, I completely couldn't do it last time. And this time, I was like, I can make time. You can do it on a Monday. It's perfect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the email. But it was, I swear it was you. When was the last time you were in LA?
I was thinking about that when we came out here last time. 5 years ago?
Maybe it was right as we opened.
I don't know. I didn't email anybody because I knew we flew into Vegas, drove out here, and then drove back. And then flew out to Vegas. No, I was with my mom, so I wasn't doing, I don't think I was doing any podcast then.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
I feel like it wasn't 5 years ago, though. 3 years ago, maybe.
No, I haven't been... I wasn't in California at all 3 years ago.
Oh.
I wanted to be.
If I can find the email, I'll send it to you.
Because I think it was Fish was playing up at the Gorge in Seattle, and then the Black Keys were playing in San Francisco like a week before that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, sweet, I'll go see the Black Keys, hang out in the Napa area because I love wine, and I'd worked in the wine industry for like 14 years. And I'll go up to Portland, meet my friends in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And then COVID happened, and everything got shut down.
Yeah, for like 3 years.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind then. That's not going to happen.
That's not happening now.
And I still haven't seen the Black Keys, so maybe I'll see them.
I don't even remember seeing them. I don't really go to many concerts.
I love going to concerts.
I don't dislike them. I just don't ever do it.
Make the effort to go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so much stuff happens out here that I imagine it's literally just a pick of whenever.
Oh, yeah. If there's something you want to do, it's definitely within, like, here.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Taylor Swift doing, like, 5 nights out here. She just wrapped up 3 nights over in Arlington.
I'm surprised that was it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't go, like, 30 days.
Well, my buddy was like, what can Taylor Swift do for 5? I was like, she's got a deep catalog, but she just doesn't have to play the same thing over and over again. I guarantee there's somebody going out all 5 nights are going to hear different songs.
Maybe. I never even thought about that. I figured it'd do the same set over and over and over for more people.
Oh, I doubt it. I'm curious, though, because I'll ask when I get back who went to the same or multiple shows just to see how different it was.
My friend's wife works for Ticketmaster. She can answer that question real easy.
Okay, good. Well, I guess I could look up set lists. Like it's a website.
And they publish those?
Yeah.
Ah.
There's people that live and die by like what was the set list every night and how different is it and all that.
I mean, I guess like that's. I love my niche little things too, so it makes sense that people are like super into music.
So there's some like I read an article and then I was hooked on it for like 6 months where there's certain websites that have the recordings of those nights, and you can listen to it that way, which is great and all until you hear
the microphone just bootlegging it.
Yeah, basically. And then that's the problem is you get people going woo and like talking and all kinds of other shit, and the stuff you don't like hearing at concerts, then you'll hear on that recording.
It's the equivalent of the guy with the camera in the movie theater.
Yeah.
It starts to wobble. Then like you see somebody go by and it covers.
Uh-huh.
When people used to bootleg movies like that.
All the time. I had one of my buddies got one, and it was like the Bruce Almighty, and then it was like right with that moment where he hits the fire hydrant and that like I Got the Power song comes on, no music came on. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is this? Okay, because I've seen this movie. This is not right.
I wonder if it's they like uploaded it to YouTube or something, and like you play music for more than like something minutes, seconds, you get demonetized.
No, this is a DVD, so I have no idea.
That's some weird bootleg.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was back in the day when you buy them from like, the convenience stores and shit.
Oh yeah, I lived in Kenya for like 4 months.
Wow.
And I bought all the bootlegs of like Scrubs and everything when I was in town, because when I get home at night, like you can't go like wander around and get eaten by a lion or kidnapped. So just you watch TV at night.
Okay, that makes sense.
Never been a TV person, but I was there.
I enjoy it. I think I have FOMO too much, that I like going out and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend now is very much like, she likes being at home. She lived in New Orleans, or she's born and raised in New Orleans, so she'd done the whole French Quarter thing, always been out, and she was bartender, so she knows the nightlife, and now she's like, I'm good staying home. So now there's like a balance of like me being out and then staying home as well.
I was in New Orleans in January from a bachelor party.
Very nice.
I love that city.
Yeah, that city's great.
It's one of my favorite drinking towns, food towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all be down there next month for a wedding. So as soon as I get back home, we're on a diet so that we look good at a wedding.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got a wedding the day this ends. I got a wedding. I planned it like that on purpose. It was like right after bachelor party.
Yeah.
Completely destroy myself and just go for it. Hit it hard.
Harder than you are 75 days.
Yeah. So I'll probably keep going to some degree. I'm probably not going to do the no drinking thing. That's been horrible.
Yeah, imagine considering you run a brewery. So
yeah, I don't really drink that much,
right.
But when I do, I like to enjoy myself and have fun and like go out and enjoy myself.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
So as you hear, we are having a wonderful conversation. I'm here with Joe with Tortugo Brewing out here in California. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great.
So you've been brewing at home in your parents' kitchen since 2005. How did you finally make the leap to, you know what, I'm going to open a full-on brewery?
I pretty much spent 15 years working for everybody else.
Right.
So I ran homebrew shops. I taught intro to brewing classes at the homebrew shops. I helped on packaging lines at production breweries in my hometown. Then I came out to LA and I spent 6 years working in distribution, because the big gap in my knowledge was sales.
Right.
In distribution. I just didn't know that piece of the business. So I worked for one of the biggest distributors in LA and was one of their main market managers.
Wow.
When I left there and opened the brewery.
That's a huge leap. Because I've been on the distribution sales side, and you learn quite a bit, and then you somewhat kind of learn how the sausage is made when it comes to behind the scenes aspects of it. But what all, like, doing all those different jobs, what kind of tools did you take from each job that you feel like you're applying here?
It was a lot of relationship building across, like, everything. And I'm still friends with people that I worked with at that first homebrew shop when I was, 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Then with the distributor job, it allowed me to get, right there with people that I idolized. The owners of Sam Adams and Ballast Point and New Belgium. Yeah. And instead of just being some guy that's a super fan of what they do, I was selling their beer and representing them in the market, so they gave me the time of day. Yeah. And I'd get to have dinner with them and take them around the market and get to ask all the questions I wanted and go visit the breweries and, get to brew on, bigger systems and ask questions and things like that. So that's really what helped me get to that next step. But at the same time, it's a lot of just trial and error. I'm not afraid to fail. I never have been.
Good.
I've always had a big entrepreneurial spirit. So, if it doesn't work the first time, I'm going to try again and try again. And that's the same thing with all the systems I've built here and all the processes I do and what I taught myself how to do. Right. It was starting over. Brewing on a commercial level is completely different than home brewing.
Yeah. Now, I guess that's a simple and logical thing to think about. Like, yeah, obviously they're way different, but besides size-wise and machinery-wise, like, what are some of the differences that you have home brewing, obviously, as opposed to commercial brewing?
So when you're brewing on a scale of this size, your utilization is a lot higher. So a lot of the recipes that you wrote to, brew on my old Igloo homebrew cooler and doing all grain batches, you're going to get maybe 75, 72% efficiency,
Right.
where on a commercial system, I'm pushing 85, I'm pushing 90
Wow.
sometimes. So being able to dial your recipes in and not overshoot it.
Yeah.
Then hop utilization goes up to about 120%
Right.
when you're on a commercial system as well. Then I think the biggest and hardest thing was going into real chemicals. At home, you can use Be Bright and iodophor and things like that, but when you're on a commercial scale, you're using heavy-duty caustics, you're using heavy-duty acids, and you got to be very mindful of what you're working with.
Right.
So I think the biggest jump is just sanitation,
Okay. Yeah.
because the process is still going to be essentially the same. You're just dealing with much larger volumes and much, it's not as easy as lifting up a brew kettle on your counter and transferring into a fermenter. You're moving, 1,000 gallons of,
Yeah.
hot liquid from point A to point B all the time.
Right.
So just being mindful of all of that's really, really important.
Do you have a pilot system that you use for just stuff that it's come to your brain and you're going to try it, or no?
No, I had my system designed where I can boil, even though it's like a 20 barrel, I can boil a 5-barrel batch, a 7-barrel batch, because where I put the sensor for the kettle. So
nice.
my test batches on this scale are, 9 barrels,
Right.
7 barrels.
Damn, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good amount of beer.
Yeah. Is there things you miss about brewing at home as opposed to brewing on this scale?
I'm able to be a lot more creative here than I was at home.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a lot more tools and a lot more.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like when I was brewing when I was younger, it was a lot just for fun and to share with my friends, and now it's became a business.
Yeah.
And it's became a job.
Yeah, that's the good and bad thing about, I guess, having building your dream into a business.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Right.
I've never woken up in a day and been like, oh, I really don't want to go to work today.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I think I'm harder on myself than I've ever been.
Right.
Even though I used to send beers to competitions and this and that when I was a home brewer, and lots of my friends critiquing my beer, but now that I'm on like such a public forum, I think I'm harder on myself than I've ever been on every batch of beer.
Wow. How do you... So when it comes to having a dream and then making it into a business and then making it into your job, how do you find the balance of still living in the dream part of it and then also clearly you're in the business part of it? So like, where do you find the balance of like all that?
I'm not really sure. I haven't. I don't know if I'm there yet.
Okay.
It's there are definitely moments. I'm happiest when I'm on the brew house, when
Yeah.
I'm on the brew stand. I'm least happy when I'm doing paperwork.
Well, of course, yeah.
I think it's a pretty cool feeling for me when I'm like walking through the tap room. We've gotten to such a size where people don't know who I am,
Right.
or maybe I'm just ignorant. But there's people enjoying what I'm doing and enjoying these beers that I've put all this thought and purpose into,
Yeah.
and they're coming back and solely for the beer and the environment that we designed, and that's pretty rewarding.
Yeah. Now, also when it comes to making your dream into your business, there's certain things of moving the goalpost to H goal.
Always.
Where do you allow yourself to enjoy those moments of, hey, I've made this goalpost, and then you move, or how do you? Because some people will just be like, nope, next one. All right, hit it. Let's go.
I mean, you enjoy it, you like it.
Yeah.
But as for, you have to celebrate the victories.
Yeah.
Or what's the point?
Good point. Yeah.
Getting up, getting going, getting the place running are all, like the first is just, okay, it's a vision, it's going to happen.